It's gonna be beautiful, mate. It's gonna be beautiful. We can feed it to each other.
I'm lost. As here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map. It is the GOAT himself playing for Basilisk. It is Serral.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponents. We have the German Protoss player himself, the Red Protoss representing big Esports. It is ShoWTimE.
Don't worry, Mario. I had my fingers crossed behind my back when I said Serral was the GOAT.
Oh.
I would never do that to you, Mario.
He's lying to you, Mario. He's lying. Don't let him get away with it.
No, it's opposite day.
But here we go. ShoWTimE. As you were mentioning earlier, he just took down Dark, arguably the best aggressive Zerg player in the world. I'd say arguably. There's also Ragnarok, to be fair. It's so hard to pick between the two. But regardless, Dark is the best Zerg in Korea and one of the best Zergs in the world. And now, ShoWTimE, his reward is to face off against Serral.
I've always wanted to bring the mythical fighter idea into StarCraft. It's this concept of like on the perfect circumstance, on the perfect night, you have this like mythical creature of a player, of a fighter, of a sports person. So like, for example, like GSL proxy every game Ragnarok would be one of the mythical creatures. Or like 2 racks every game Maru.
Yeah, I mean that used
aggressive ShoWTimE.
Oh my god.
Just like the perfect combination.
Yeah, that was kind of a thing. I know this was a little bit before your time, but there was the summer of Tasia, and that was every summer Tasia would just pop off and just win everything. But only in the summer. So that was a thing back in the day, a little bit. But yeah, I love the idea. You know, it's like what happens when Serral goes beast mode and just, you know, isn't a robot and smiles.
Yeah, BM Serral.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine the power of BM Serral?
Jesus.
Or if you had like Raynor arrogance Serral.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's
unstoppable.
I don't want to think of that. I don't. We've been getting a little bit of that. Serral, because he's been streaming a little bit more recently, like every now and then on the ladder, you know, he pops off like, look at this clown.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Serral streams are so good. I'm really enjoying it. I feel like he's had a chat with Roddy or someone and asked, you know, little tips here for streaming, and he's kind of explained to him how to make these hype situations. And you'll see Serral, he'll like make a nice move and he'll be like, let's go, like we owned this guy, and I'm like, whoa, who is this?
Oh my god, it's beautiful, Bobby. It's beautiful. Shout out to Team Basilisk for forcing all of their players to stream. Otherwise, I'm sure Raider and Serral would not have taken up streaming the way that they did. But yeah, it's really great to see the content that we've been getting from them.
Oh yeah, Raynor with the best thumbnails in the game, of course.
Hey. The arrows. Oh god, but before we get too ahead of ourselves, we're still here in the semi-final. ShoWTimE once again going for a Stargate opener, keeping his first Oracle here back at home, making sure that his third base is gotten up uncontested, unhindered.
Yeah, ShoWTimE actually playing this a little bit more defensively than he did with Dark, so keeping this Oracle back at home, really respecting Serral here.
100%, mate. 100%. It isn't something that we saw at all against Dark, which is crazy because Dark is the more aggressive player. So again, ShoWTimE recognizing that if Serral sees weakness, he will abuse it. He will take advantage of that whenever he can. And meanwhile, the first two Oracles are going to be meeting up and they're going to be heading towards that natural.
Yeah, this is another really interesting matchup as well, in that I'm sure these players play on the ladder all the time, if not in customs as well. So I'm betting they're going to be very familiar with each other. As here we go, we're going to be seeing ShoWTimE once again going for this Robo Forge style. skipping out on the Twilight Council for now, so must be something that he's been working on lately.
Yeah, before that happens, both Oracles slip into the natural in between the main as well. 7 drones go down and not a single Oracle did fall. So very nice control here and very nice damage dealt by ShoWTimE. And as you were saying, I assumed that the Robo first into Forge was very specific against Dark, but I guess it may just be ShoWTimE's go-to.
Yeah, it looks like it is something that he's just going with for the moment here. And here we go, we just see these Oracles going to be tracking these Lings. The Lings picking up a few Adepts that found themselves out on the map here. And behind this, Serral just going to be going up into a Roach Warren, so playing things out nice and safe and standard so far.
Nothing hyper-aggressive out of Serral yet, and yeah, I'm really curious to see. That means for the time being, ShoWTimE, he's going straight for the Bay as well. This is very reminiscent to his series against Dark. Again, we don't really get to cast ShoWTimE too often, especially because we're a little bit more endemic for the Korean scene. So I'm fascinated that this is just something very akin to ShoWTimE. Like, we don't see anyone else do this, not even MaxPax or any of the other European Protosses.
Yeah, definitely. He's playing this extremely safely. As behind this, we do see Serral is starting to add on his gases here, something that I'm starting to look out now for the gas count, because I was watching Chappie's laser coaching last night. I feel like I learned a bit of ZvP.
There you go, mate. There you go. Yeah, all 6 gases are being taken at the same time. Serral just poking in between the bases, not really finding too much damage, just confirming the composition, confirming the Immortal already coming out, and Serral can now be recognizing what exactly ShoWTimE is up to.
Look at that Evo. It's tucked away in the corner there. It looks so cozy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Look at it. Oh.
Like a little bed. I just want to tuck in between there and have a little nap. It looks comfy.
Yeah, it does. Very intentional, I imagine, as well, because I'm sure this position can be abused a little bit, especially by Adepts, as they do kind of sneak in there whenever they can. Up until that point, though, we do see ShoWTimE slowly expanding, taking his 4th base as well. We have shield batteries and cannons on the way. Behind this, a Dark Shrine as well. Again, this is just very well rehearsed, just like against Dark.
Yeah, he is following pretty much the exact same formula that he did against Dark, getting up some cannons and batteries at the bases just to be extra safe as well. And this looks very reminiscent of Game 2 against Dark, especially where Dark, he did kind of just hit a max out and roll over and smash through the force. So ShoWTime's going to be looking to set the record straight and not have that happen again in this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, a big difference is that Serral has been droning. He isn't cutting workers early on. We do see, a nice surround on the first Disruptor, though.
Yeah, those Lings just reach in and scoop that Disruptor up, and we'll be taking it down without any losses there. We do have Serral just kind of charging on through here, and it feels like ShoWTimE going out for that little poking move out there with not too many units, and does get punished for it.
He really does, and now he's forced back once again. Serral droning up to 84 at this point. A pretty healthy worker count. Now he can focus on nothing but army production. He's going to be hammering down these rocks. He's going to try and pull apart ShoWTimE and find a way in. It's going to be difficult pushing into these disruptors, which is why, again, it was a little bit odd to see ShoWTimE moving out and exposing himself the way that he did.
Yeah, 100%. Just another thing as well. I feel like it's a little odd that ShoWTimE doesn't have a prism with this army. I don't know. It feels like it would add a lot to this army to have a prism for juggling these units.
100%, mate. It's something he's lacking, not just to reinforce across the map, but as you said, to save these high-tech units from any kind of disastrous situation. So ShoWTimE is going to be gambling a little bit, relying so much on his own control and his own positioning, and Serral may be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, so Serral morphing in a lot of Banelings here, going for this very heavy Baneling start. Wow, okay, 44 Banelings being morphed in. Serral is not messing around here. He wants to get some serious damage done as this +2 does eventually kick in.
Yeah, he is now maxed out here with Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager going to be headed towards these bases. Novas are going to be going off, and they only connect with only a handful of units.
Ooh, pretty good connections on the Roaches there, and these Banelings not going to be getting too much damage. They do try to find the Sentry there, but the Sentry going to be surviving on just about 1 HP. Here we go, the Baneling's going to be running on in, jumping straight on top of these Archons, but there is a shield battery overcharge here.
There is an overcharge. A big chunk of the Protoss army does go down. A couple of disruptors as well. Not enough left over to get into the mineral line, as it looks like Serral is being forced back.
Yeah, Serral really trying to brute force down this wall, and he is having some success for sure. It does feel like, yeah, this style of ShoWTimE it sometimes doesn't feel the most sturdy. There's just not that much buffer for these high-tech units.
Yeah, there aren't really too many Stalkers. I feel like Stalkers can work amazingly against the Ling Bane just as a wall for some of the other more important units here. And Serral, even though he didn't break any of the bases, he's remaxed once again. He's going to be going in for a second push.
Yeah, Serral trying very hard here to break ShoWTimE on these 4 bases, and he is going to be looking to get some damage with the Ling Bane, with the Roach Ravager. Pretty good connection with those Novas there. The Baneling's just really pressing up against the Archons here, but there we go. They do start to press into the meat of this army. There's just not really enough here, though.
There's not enough, but you know what, Serral, he's got more where that came from. We are remaxing once again with more Lings, more Roaches, more Banelings. And ShoWTimE, his Archon count is slowly getting smaller and smaller. This is kind of like a game of attrition. Serral wants to wear ShoWTimE down over time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this creep right at the doorstep here is also making this a lot more doable for Serral, where he is pushing ShoWTimE right up against the wall, right into his static defense here.
Yeah, he really is. Meanwhile, we also have a bit of a drop load being set up towards the north and south to get into those mineral lines. A great way to bypass the walls and the static defense of ShoWTimE. At the same time, we do see the main army of Serral trying to find another way and trying to pick up whatever they can. It looks like they will get an Archon.
Yeah, looks like everything going to be synced up to go at the same time. He does cancel the base in the top right-hand corner. Meanwhile, going to be skirmishing with the army over here, sending in the Dropper Lords as well. Everything going on all at the same time, and ShoWTimE desperately trying to hold on, but he is losing a lot of these high-tech units.
He really is. We do see those Dropper Lords coming on in, though, towards those bases, and it looks like the cannons were able to take down the first one. The second one heads towards the third. Oh.
Yeah, ShoWTimE very solid. Not going to be taking any damage to this.
Oh, did we speak too soon?
I say that.
The Banelings, they do find some connections at least.
Can I just say, as much as I balance mine from a Terran perspective a lot, I do actually think +2 Banes one-shotting probes is one of the most broken things in the game.
True. Should be +1 Banes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's broken. What a joke. As we do see a very nice Nova coming out from ShoWTimE there, but Serral here is going to be attacking once again. A lot of these Banelings going down to the Novas. Very good stasis trap as well, going to be stopping these flanking Banes, but the army still is taking a lot of damage for ShoWTimE. Overcharge will be committed. That will keep him safe, but he is being hemmed back on these 4 bases. It's very difficult for him right now to get a 5th up.
It really is. He wants to try to alleviate some of that pressure. He goes for a massive Zealot run-by, but no, the Lings are here to reinforce, to deal with this. At the same time, another Baneling run-by being set up. Not quite the attention, though, from Serral, so they're not going to be able to get into any of these mineral lines, and ShoWTimE is slowly taking that 5th.
Yeah, Serral is finding it a little bit difficult to get openings here on this 4-base setup, which I think is fair enough. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of this pressure is also just having the purpose of making it difficult to take a 5th. Just pushing ShoWTimE into his 4-base setup and just having that that constant attrition and pressure.
Exactly. We haven't really put too much attention on it, but here we go. The Ling Bane rolls on forward. The Disruptors roll exposed.
Oh, beautiful timing from Serral. As soon as ShoWTimE extends himself out towards his 5th base, but before the static can get up, and he will be taking out a giant chunk of the army, taking out the 5th. These Banelings do a huge amount of damage to the Protoss army as well, and Serral, he has gotten the damage he needs. He can get out of there.
Yeah, 18 probes at the base, resetting the disruptor count as well. Finally, the damage has been dealt. Up until this point, ShoWTimE was honestly doing a pretty damn good job defending and surviving, but that was the fight that Serral was looking for.
Yeah, 100%. And he is still applying this constant pressure. He will not give ShoWTimE a moment to rest. And ShoWTimE's army is just looking lower and lower quality as each attack progresses.
Yeah, exactly. He's down to only a singular disruptor, and without them, there's nothing really stopping the Roach Ravager from just pushing on forward. Here we go. We do have one last Nova going off, but there was only one. It doesn't even connect with the Ravager. Oh my God.
Wow. That was insane. Serral, as always, Mr. Perfect there. He will be taking out both of the problems in one fell swoop. And here he goes charging on in. The Nexus does go down. And with that, I feel the hopes for ShoWTimE in this game. GG is called.
GG. Was that intentional?
I think so. I think he just knows. He sees the stasis wards. It's so
Yeah.
insane. He just
Yeah.
knows where they all are.
That was crazy, Poppy. That was crazy. GG, well played. Serral does take that first game. After a couple of waves, after a couple of pushes, I was a little bit concerned that maybe he was overextending. Maybe ShoWTimE was trading too efficiently defensively, but then we saw that one big fight at the 5th base where the disruptors all got surrounded. Exactly what Serral was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it looks a little messy, but I think that's just how it's done.
Yeah, I mean, what I was gonna say before the big fight at the 5th base was that weren't really putting too much attention on it, but the macro of Serral was insane that game. Like his ability to take expansions, to resaturate his bases, take gases as he needed them. So that's why there was very little kind of time in between these pushes. Like he just kept that pressure on ShoWTimE just because of how good and how much map control Serral did have.
Yeah, absolutely. Just an extremely crisp game. Pretty much every time there was an attack, we would look back to the creep that is just a screen away, and there would be another army pretty much of the same size being morphed in behind it. So he was just relentless with the pressure, pretty much perfect with the macro, and ShoWTimE, he did a great job holding on, but kind of felt hopeless from the start. And I wonder if, as a result, we're going to be seeing something a bit different in this game.
That's the thing. Like, I want to believe that ShoWTimE has other styles available to him. I hope so. I hope he isn't just, you know, kind of one and done with this as we get into game number 2.
Yeah, that's it. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressvan. It is the Finnish Phenom for Basilisk. This is Serral.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressvan, we have his opponent. We have the German Protoss player himself representing big Esports. It is ShoWTimE. Oh boy, but yeah, Serral having a very different approach compared to Dark. Dark was one to hit a bit of a stronger timing on that previous map on Babylon. Serral, though, very quick to just expand, drone up to 85 plus drones, and then just max and just continue to remax time and time again, just slowly weathering down and breaking down that wall that is ShoWTimE. It was pretty terrifying to see.
Yeah, it was very impressive. I mean, some of the fights didn't look super efficient, but it didn't really seem to matter too much.
Yeah.
Really didn't look like he was in any trouble at any point in that game. And yeah, this map is going to be interesting because this is a bit of a larger map. It's going to be a lot harder to get creep all the way across the same way that Serral did that last time, but it's also a bit more of an open map.
It really is, you know, both 3rd bases, the 4th base locations as well. There are multiple kind of entry points, multiple attack paths that the Zerg player can take, especially in those later stages of the game. Which is why I'm really curious to see how ShoWTimE is going to adapt, because this like more defensive style I think is going to be harder to pull off on Gressvan.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how he mixes it up. I feel like he did mix up things quite a bit versus Dark, but a lot of the time it was in response.
Yeah.
And Serral's not really one to go for something super aggressive if he doesn't need to. So it's going to be interesting to see if ShoWTimE does have variations that he likes to go for when this does happen.
Exactly. Like, it's kind of hard to tell, at least for us, again, because we don't really cast as much ShoWTimE as some of the other more active players. But on Gressvan against Dark, ShoWTimE, who's just defending against a Bane all-in, Ling Bane bust, you know, like it's kind of hard to kind of read what his tendencies are on this map from that situation, just because he had to react so heavily and so aggressively to what Dark was doing. Oh my god. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to have to eat my words here because Serral is, after all, doing something very aggressive. And, you know, this is something that we have seen a little bit more from him from time to time. It was always a bit of a criticism of his, that he was a bit of a, not even necessarily a one-dimensional player. It's hard to call someone one-dimensional when that one dimension is basically the best it could ever be. But he has been mixing in a lot more aggression, a lot more cheesy sort of styles. I saw a series of his against Clem recently where he was doing some Ling Nidus all-ins to punish 3cc Banshee blindly, and it does seem like, even though he might not necessarily have to punish players for blindly assuming what he's doing, he can. It's in his range now.
Yeah, and we saw this even at Katowice. We saw it on Neo Humanity. It wasn't just Rainer, it was Serral as well, going for these all-ins against Protoss on some of the smaller maps.
Oh.
But this is something very different. We do have a Dropper Lord being set up going into the main base, and we have a Hydrogen behind us as well.
Mate. This is some SEA gaming, yeah.
Let's go, Bobby. I mean, mate.
King of the Sea.
Mate, remember, Serral did say that he was kind of taking some notes and he was motivated. He was inspired by Mio Micah, and I feel like that is coming out here and now. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, he saw the promise in the Mio Micah Hydra style. I remember seeing him tweet about it, saying that it's a style that he believes in, and here we go. He is going to be going for some very aggressive play here. This hasn't worked out amazingly, but he does save quite a few of those links. It can be kind of funny to watch Serral go for these extremely aggressive plays just because he is just so naturally conservative with his units.
He really is. But I love this because this is forcing the Oracles back at home. This means that the Hydrogen and the Lair hasn't been scouted. We do see Lynx once again keeping ShoWTimE busy defensively, and he has no idea. He hasn't seen a single thing across the map. He doesn't know what's coming.
Yeah, this is so funny the way that he's using these links. I feel like I'm watching Dark, honestly.
Yeah.
And with these Hydras just about to hit, I'm going to feel like I'm watching Mio. But behind this, we do have Twilight Council and Forge going to be going down for the Protoss player here. He is going to be once again looking to have a bit of a counterattack and get that extra scouting. And there we go. We do see these batteries immediately going down. This is, of course, the style that Mio popularized against ShoWTimE. So I'm sure ShoWTimE's thought a lot about how he wants to defend this.
Yeah, but this is a late reaction. That's the problem. The Ling's already diving on top of this army. Great force fields here from ShoWTimE, though.
Yeah, beautiful force fields there. The Hydra is going to be putting some damage down on the Oracles, but ShoWTimE just pulling that one back, and this has been some fantastic defense from ShoWTimE so far, but the Oracles all getting extremely low. He has bought himself enough time for the shield batteries.
Oh, wow, the shield battery overcharge does get popped. ShoWTimE's going to be able to force his back at least a little bit. He's trying to focus down as many of these Hydras as possible.
Yeah, he's getting the Hydras, and that's so key when it comes to defending this push. If you can take out all the Hydras, they're the main source of the DPS. Yeah. They're very, very important to making this push work.
Exactly. Preserving the Hydra count is so important with this all-in, and as they've been going down one after the other, I believe ShoWTimE, he is doing this.
Yeah, this is looking like an extremely solid defense. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful SimCity, beautiful force fields coming out from ShoWTimE. I love the way that he has these little channels next to this forward shield battery where the units can sit and block. Yeah. It's just so meticulously done, and I mean, after losing to Mio, I'm sure he's thought about this very hard.
That's the thing, right? This isn't the first time that ShoWTimE has faced and lost to this build, and as a result, he knows exactly what needs to be done. He focuses down every single one of those Hydras. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE fights back in this series, putting a point on the board.
GG. You know, props to Serral for mixing it up.
Yeah. I'm gonna message Mio after this on Discord.
Be like, Serral needs some Mio coaching.
He needs some coaching. He needs your help, Poppy. He needs your help. The King of the Sea has to come out. Oh my god. But that was really amazing to see. It didn't work out in the end, but regardless, something aside of Serral that we don't get to see too often.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Love to see it. Love to see him as well, just broadening his range. Even if it doesn't always work out when he goes for these builds, it does put out there that they're in his range. They are something to be aware of, and they're something to be looking for as well. And that's only going to help the rest of his play.
100%, mate. 100%. He's just kind of broadening his horizons that much more. Oh boy, but we'll see if he does something like that again here as we're getting into the ace match. As a reminder, this is a best of 3, not a best of 5, so this is going to be the final game of this series.
Yes, and here we go. It's going to be Royal Blood. I am really excited to see another shorter map because that style that Serral had on Babylon was so amazing to watch, so brutal, and I think this would it would make sense to go for something similar on this map as well.
It would make a lot of sense. Meanwhile, we just got an update. Oliveira has taken down the Danish prince, he 2-0'd Max Packs. Oh. Oh boy. So mate, there's a Terran Hope in the finals.
Oh, I zoned out. Yeah. Someone come again.
You're an animal, Puffy. You're an animal. I think your brain broke because you just heard that a Terran player beat Max Packs and we have Oliveira in the finals.
Congratulations to Max Packs. Protoss does it once again. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all.
You're an animal.
We'll come back to that. I want to introduce the player in the top right. Here he is playing for Basilisk. He is arguably the greatest StarCraft 2 player of all time. This is Serral.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponent. We have the German Protoss player himself representing big esports. It is ShoWTimE.
Man, I saw that King of the Hill run from Max Packs.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's a pretty sick run. Those players were not pushovers.
Yeah. God King of the Hill, mate. God King Emperor Max Packs. He wasn't just the King of the Hill, mate. He owned it all. He took down Spirit, Special, Nightmare, like big names, and Trigger as well. Oh boy. But he has met his match up against the world champ himself. Oliveira does bring him down, and yeah, that does at least confirm a Terran. We got him in the finals.
Yeah, Max Packs has been in some stunning form lately, so for Oliveira to take him down, definitely a feather in his cap, and I'll be really excited to see him in the grand finals.
I will be as well. It also looks as if there's going to be a third place match, so I am curious if that's going to be taking place before the finals and we're going to cast everything. I actually don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Figure that out.
Yeah, I really want to see the Oliveira vs Max Packs games as well. I want to see how he holds 4-gate blink with the kind of styles that he's been using lately. Because I feel like that was something that was in a little bit in question with his World Championship games against Hero, just how well he would be able to hold 4-gate aggression.
Yeah. I want to see it, Papi. I want to see it. I want to see it all. Oh god. But of course we will get there after this series. Before that happens, we do have our semifinals match, the ace match between Serral and ShoWTimE, and we got to pay attention because Serral did just show us that he is willing to cheese it up, to be giga aggressive at a moment's notice.
Oh yeah, he showed us he has the Mio builds in his back pocket. Anything's possible here. But at least for now, it's looking a little bit more standard. ShoWTimE once again going to be going for these fast 2 adepts, and Serral, as he always does, managing to slip that Ling in just at the right moment there. He is, of course, so brilliant with his scouting.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, he confirms the Stargate opener of his opponent, and now Serral can prepare back at home with his queens, with his spores, physically and mentally. He'll be ready for that first oracle. Meanwhile, as you were mentioning, we do have those first 2 adepts from ShoWTimE looking to find some probe damage, drone damage even.
Spiritually.
Oh.
Yeah, these are just going to be popping in. Oh, very cute stuff from Serral, using that Evo block to prevent any damage there without having to run his drones too far away. This is that kind of tip of the iceberg efficiency that you do see from these players that are really pushing the envelope of what's possible in StarCraft.
Yeah, 100%, man. At the same time, the Lings of Serral are waiting for the Zeps to commit to a shade into the main base. They do commit, but they head towards that natural instead. Just going to be denying a little bit of mine time, just going to be looking to pick up whatever they can. The Oracles are following suit, so the first one does zoom across the map.
Oh, and there we go. We do have a little bit of a commitment in here to the third. 4 drones going to be going down, so not bad damage at all here.
Yeah, 4 drones for those 3 adepts. Not bad whatsoever. The Oracle does survive and now can meet up with a second Oracle to look to find even more damage. At the same time, now that the adepts have fallen, the Lings are going for a counterattack and they will force these Oracles to stay at home. Yeah,
Serral can start poking and prodding here. Maybe force out a bit of an energy activation from these Oracles. Actually going to be forcing both of those to activate, so nice job there for Serral. And behind this, just going to be droning.
Yeah, it's just going to be droning on up behind this. Meanwhile, from the side of ShoWTimE, he is mixing things up. This time, it is not going to be a robo follow-up. This time, it is that Twilight Council.
Yeah, a bit more in line with that typical hero style, getting that Twilight and the Forge at the same time. Throwing down a few extra gateways as well. So we might be seeing him go into Blink Stalkers for the first time here.
Yeah, exactly. And the gateways are going to be scouted by Serral so we can piece this together, especially because ShoWTimE does usually skip out on those gateways and it does prioritize his tech. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE dives in behind the main base with his triple Oracle, going to be looking to dive in and find some damage. Does head towards the natural.
Yeah, quick pull, of course, from Serral there. And yeah, it's going to be Blink, so in a meta absolutely dominated by Blink Stalkers, it'll be the first time we see it. But here we go, the Oracle's diving in on the drones. The drones left unprotected, 6 of them going down. Bit of a, I don't want to say necessarily an uncharacteristic mistake from Serral, because ShoWTimE did some beautiful work to make that happen.
Yeah, he really did. Serral, these creeping queens, they were busy creeping. They were not busy defending, and we found an opening. 6 drones going down. ShoWTimE keeps every one of his oracles alive.
Yeah, ShoWTimE being very successful with this harassment in this game so far. Serral just going to be poking and prodding with those links. Does get pushed back by the Blink Stalkers here, and we see quite a few more gateways coming down for ShoWTimE here. So ShoWTimE going to be looking to set up some aggression here on 3 bases.
Yeah, he's going to be looking at the timing with +1 attack. Before that happens, he's going to be pressuring this 4th base, looking to force a cancel as well. There's not too much creep here, so Serral is going to have a hard time engaging. Up.
Yeah, looks like ShoWTimE with the damage that he got in this early game season opening, but one of those oracles going to be going down for a queen, and we don't get that base, but we do get a pretty massive stasis here on the link. So possibilities.
I mean, we have reinforcements. They are on the way, rushing across the map here to support this army. We do have a link counterattack as well, but we have a shield battery, we have a defensive warp, and it looks like the links will deny the 4th of ShoWTimE.
Yeah, Serral ever active with his units here. He is going to be committing here on the Stalkers. Looks like the run by a little bit late to come back and join up here for the surround. And ShoWTimE will have the Oracles back there to help deal with that. Nice little blink to get out of danger. But Serral going to be fully committing on these Stalkers. Actually getting a decent amount of damage here, but it's just shields so far.
Yeah, just shields. Looks like maybe 2 Stalkers went down, which was nice, but now we have some reinforcements coming in. What's important though, Serral did snipe a 2nd Oracle, so there's only 1 Oracle remaining. We don't really have that much to support these Stalkers anymore.
Yeah, it's a pretty key element of this style, of course, but Serral making things happen in multiple places at once is going to be taxing at ShoWTimE here. A few of these Stalkers going down, so some stunning Ling movement here from Serral, getting as much damage as he can, making a lot with a little, as he does.
Oh, he even forces a cancel on the 4th base as well, just forcing ShoWTimE back home, giving Serral some breathing room so he can spread his creep, so he can drone up and take a 5th.
Yeah, there we go. That 5th is on the way. We do see those links. Some of them getting out of there. And behind this, ShoWTimE getting up that 4th charge +1, getting the double robo set up once again as well. So looks like he's going to be going back into disruptors.
Yeah, I imagine so. Colossi wouldn't be a bad choice, and that's kind of what the Korean meta is revolving around right now. Both Classic and Hero loving their double Colossus transition, but we'll see what ShoWTimE wants to go for. Forced a recall. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't think that was the blink that he was looking for there. The recall goes down pretty quickly, not before losing a couple of Stalkers. And we do have this little force over here to the right, but I don't love being this deep on creep when there's Lings around and only 1 Oracle. He will be punished.
Yeah, 2 Stalkers do get picked off in the retreat. We do have another army coming on in. Oh, it looked like Serral was actually attacking his own base there for a moment. He gets punished for it.
Yeah, ShoWTimE finishes it off there, but he is going to be losing a lot of these units. Actually, the Lings could be getting on top of all these Stalkers here. ShoWTimE definitely being a little bit adventurous with his units here. He's kind of almost playing like a Terran, the way that he's poking at 2 different sides here.
Definitely, but here we go. He's consolidating his army. He's coming in once again to force another cancel on this 5th hatchery. And there we go. We do have it as he does back off of that creep. Meanwhile, it is going to be that Colossus transition. 2 Colossi are being produced at a time.
All right, I like it. I'm hoping to see some sentries as well. I feel like the few times that I've seen this Colossus style, It always does a little bit better when you have some sentries to support, of course. We do see that +3 attack is on the way, another key element to making this style work, but Serral going to be going for a big counter attack with Banes and Lings here, trying to batter down the natural here.
Oh, here we go. The Banelings do find their connection, but we have Stalks. Oh no, there was on the wall. They slip in.
Ooh. They do slip in, but they don't really get too much of anything in the end, and Serral is pushed back here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Baneling speed finishes up a couple seconds too late. We can't take full advantage of that, and ShoWTimE is able to defend. Meanwhile, the 5th base is now up and running. We have cannons, we have shield batteries, we even have a Dark Shrine on the way.
Oh. A little bit cheeky there, as we do have Serral getting up his extra bases, and that +3 will be a pretty big timing for ShoWTimE. He's going to have at least 4 Colossus. He's going to have himself pretty safely situated with that 4th lockdown with static defense, and he can probably start to look for a bit of aggression. We do have a Prism getting started up, so that might be the first step of this.
Yeah, the Prism, DT, Zealots, the harassment is going to be coming out to try and pull apart Serral. Meanwhile, Serral has been able to max out. He has a pretty healthy drone count here at 75, focusing a little more on his army supply instead, looking to try and collapse on this army, looking to try and catch ShoWTimE as he moves out.
Yeah, this is that army that we saw him using so effectively on Babylon, but this time, ShoWTimE's had a lot more momentum, and that creep is not pressing up at his bases like it was on Babylon.
Hey, that's
Here we go, massive attack.
Yeah, the Link's coming in from behind as well, locking down this army. We do have a blink from those Stalkers, but we're trying to get on top of the Colossus.
Yeah, we are trying, but the Prism is making that very difficult, beautiful micro from ShoWTimE, saving all of those Colossus.
The Colossi are all saved, but I can't say the same for the Stalkers or for those probes. 8 probes going down, and the Stalker count gets reset.
Yeah, pretty much the entire army of ShoWTimE is shaved off there, and he's desperately trying to get back that army, but not without Serral just constantly harassing and prodding him, going for a very off timing with that Baneling run by, that one little moment that ShoWTimE had to breathe, and he just shoves those in there, and now ShoWTimE finds himself lacking warpins, lacking an army, lacking a defense for this massive push on his natural.
Yeah, we have one Purification Nova going off. We have a second as well, but again, where is the Gateway army? Where are those Stalkers? The Stalker count was reset earlier. Now we're diving on top of the Colossus once again.
Yeah, we are, and this time the Prism not quite in the right spot to help save them. Beautiful micro again, does save most of them, but there we go. They are going to be going down finally. Serral smashes through, and GG takes the 2-1.
GG, well played. Did stumble a little bit in game 2, but Serral was having fun. He was, he was pretending to be like Mia Micah there on Gresvan. He does take the series in the end, and Serral will be advancing on to the grand finals.
Yeah, in this more standard game, Serral looks absolutely unstoppable there, and he'll be going on to the grand finals to face Oliveira, which is, what a matchup. This is exactly the matchup that we were almost denied from having in IEM Katowice. It's kind of the one question mark on Oliveira.
True, I forgot about that, but Serral did fall to Ragnarok in IEM Katowice, and we were denied. We were denied that Serral versus Maru, actually, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we were denied that, but we were also denied the potential Serral versus Oliveira as well. You're not wrong. But now, we're finally going to get it in a best-of-5 format.